Let's focus on today's agenda, and this is women. So we have a panel of quite the ladies, so to speak, newsmakers in their own right. We've heard from the chairperson of the Maendeleo Wanawake, none other than Rehab Moyo, the chairperson, saying that we have so far scored 9 out of 12. Rehab, let's get back to that particular conversation. In your view then, what is really the key impediments to gender parity?
I think just before we go there, let me also say women and environment, the girl child, we have done pretty well. Mm-hmm. I think that is among the top.
Yes.
We have not, women and in media, we have done very well. Women and human rights, we have done well. Women and environment, actually we in Maendeleo have a national water harvesting project together with the tree planting, so that we are moving on. Women and conflict, there is a challenge. And I was saying what we went through in Barigo the other day. Women and poverty, we are really behind. We have a big chunk of women, a few of us up there who can afford 3 meals in a day, but we have majority in the slums, we have majority in Kebra, we have majority who are earning 10,000 a month, and they have to do what we have to do, pick milk at the same meal. So we need to do something about creation of the wealth at the lower level. So yes, what was the other question?
You have just outlined, you know, when we say we have scored 9 out of 12, exactly where are we doing well, where do we need to improve? And you've pointed out something that is very key here, and this is the issue that we are not doing so well when it comes to women in conflict as well as women and poverty, bringing in the question of empowerment, financial empowerment. And I want to rope in Esther Gadhigi, the country director of DOT Kenya. To have women, you know, financially dependent, have we done what is right by them to create an environment where women can, you know, fully, you know, support themselves? Esther?
Well, to a certain extent, I do think we have done, we've made progress in terms of financial inclusion. We have innovations that have come to ensure that women are getting access to financial services, they are able to save, they are able to get into business. You know, M-Pesa was a revolutionary innovation that has enabled women to be able to get money. You know, now the money was in their pocket, and they are able to withdraw it within their name. Unlike before, where we would see a woman would toil, she'd do her sales, and then she'd go home, and the husband would immediately ask her, you know, how much have you made in the market? Can I have this money? Now she has a bit of control. So in terms of financial access, we are making progress. We're not there yet. There's still a lot more to be done, especially in terms of financing for businesses, innovation that are done by women. We still see, you know, around the globe, only about 1% of innovations get funded. And if you're saying 1% of all innovations are getting funded, less than, you know, half of that is women. So there's still a long way to go in terms of bringing women into the economic space, ensuring that they are able to participate within the economy. And I do believe that digital skills plays an important role in bringing women into the economic fold.
Now, you've talked to digital, and this year's theme is actually Dig It All. You know, how can we then leverage on technology and innovation to drive the women agenda? I'm roping in none other than Dr. Mary Nyasimi. How then can we leverage on, you know, STEM? And we're seeing the statistics already are indicating that fewer women are actually enrolling to STEM courses. Why?
Okay, thank you for having me. Yes, indeed, we are having fewer women pursuing subjects in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And the problem, it starts right from primary school, and it also then cascades all the way to secondary. And then by the time they reach the university, there are very fewer girls and women pursuing sciences and STEM subjects. The reason is probably our culture. We don't give enough encouragement for the girls to pursue sciences. We believe science is a difficult subject for women. As we always say, after school, you go home and start, have to do other housework. You don't even have time to become innovative. And like the boys, once they leave school and go back home, they find that they can actually go out and play, make small balls, make, small cars, so they become innovative. But girls don't have that opportunities. So by the time they reach secondary or even go into university, they always end up taking subjects, what are called soft subjects, history, geography, communication, things like that. So sciences, physics, chemistries are considered hard subjects, so women don't go into it. As well as even now, when you are a career woman, we find that across the globe, we only have 22% of the women are scientists, which is really, really low. And most of the reason is that, as a scientist, when you're in a lab, you can even spend 24 hours in a lab, doing experiments, looking at the result that you're getting. If you are a woman with children at home, a 3-month baby who is actually breastfeeding, you cannot afford to spend 24 hours. So most women tend to drop out from those side subjects. So that is the problem we are having. And what we need are actually strategies and policies that can support women, first of all, to pursue STEM subjects, as well as when they're in their career, to ensure that they sustain being in those careers.
Good. Now, we are talking about being at the policy table to influence this. Now, let's talk about leadership and governance. Madam Makena Moria, the Managing Director of Incomo Kenya. In your view, has the government achieved the one-third gender rule in your capacity? What do you think? Have we? Has it?
Thank you. I think we have a very progressive constitution. I believe, though, there's a long way to go in terms of the implementation of the 2/3 gender rule. But that doesn't show that we have not made strides. I think we have at the national and at the county level. We've seen a lot of appointments at the national level in terms of cabinet roles, in terms of PSs, but also at the county levels where people are being elected, even women governors. So there have been strides over the last successive kind of election periods. But also in terms of governance generally, at the corporate level, we've seen great strides, especially for women in Kenya. I think we are now standing at 36%, which is higher than the global average. So what does that mean? More women are at the decision-making tables, more women can push policies, more women can amplify the voice for gender-sensitive, responsive actions, whether it is at government level or corporate level. So I believe we've made strides. There's still a long way to go, but I think we are getting there.
So we have women who are in these positions of power, but then the question is, are they doing justice by the women agenda? Madam Rehab, speak to that.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go back to the 90s when we had 6 women. We had my patron, Dr. Phoebe Asio. We had our sisters Charity Ngilo, Mother Karoa, Mbedi Mogo, Zibora Kitoni, and maybe I think Grace Mwendo at that time. And they started this ball of affirmative action and actually getting us into the 47 women seats. I remember in Naivasha, we were all over the place lobbying our members of parliament in the 90s. And I'm talking about that time we had Kina Mama Aida, we had the CJ today. And we were all, trying to get the 47 seats. And Charity and Mother stormed out of Naivasha because of the 47 seats. And Kina Mutula made sure we got the late Mutula, made sure we got those seats. So I think what we are asking is, the women sitting on these seats should appreciate that a job was done. We need to get the value for these seats. I am not saying we are not getting. I'm just saying that 6 women did so much. Now we are over 80 in parliament. We us in Maendeleo, who are just a civil society organization, though we work with the government of the day, we are worried that we are seeing so many girls giving birth at 13 years. We had over 700 girls during the last exams were being done. And we're asking, where are the voices? These numbers need to translate for our girls at the grassroots. And being a grassroots women organization, we want to see them, the affirmative action, what the FGM we are talking about, the peace in the you know, in those counties, in Turkana, in Pokot, in Elgeyo. We need to see them sitting down with the elders so that we get what we were looking for when we were looking for the numbers. The book in front of me here is Maendeleo 70 Years, and all the mothers, Mama Grace, we went to see her last year as a trailblazer with the former minister, Professor Kobia, just to say thank you for the work Mom have done for us, and many other women. So the history is here for the last 70 years. So we are saying, please let the numbers translate. Let our sisters in Parliament, they will make policies for us. We appreciate in Senate. But can we do a little bit more work at the grassroots, because poverty is finishing our girls.
The number that we have currently in as far as women leaders are concerned is running at around 87. And I'm hearing what Rahab Mary is saying is that we need to have value for that representation that we currently have in as far as governance and leadership is concerned. They just concluded August polls there. We had 7 elected governors. Now we have 3 elected senators, as well as other 12 nominated senators, so to speak. So we have women at the seat of the table. Are we doing enough? Now, before we answer that question, just to remind you that we are posing the question to you and honoring women. Get on our Twitter handle. Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. Let us know who you're honoring tonight as we celebrate the International Women's Day and why. We will be taking a quick breather and speaking business. But before we speak business now that we have the numbers, and the question is, we are feeling that they are not honoring as it is, I'd want to rope in the rest of the panel. In your own view then, what do we need to do so that, we get more value from our women leaders, especially those who are in elective offices? We have 47 women reps. We have 5 governors, so to speak, 3 elected senators, 12 nominated senators. Let's start off to the far end, Daktari Mary Nyasenyi.
Yes, indeed, I'm quite excited by the numbers of women leaders that we have. And at UNESCO, we have this program of women mentorship, girl mentorship programs. And these elected leaders can be the mentors that can actually train young girls to become future leaders. Can we draw on the experiences, the leadership skills that they have, to train young girls at primary school, secondary, even university, to be leaders, to have the confidence to either take up a political post, to become a scientist, to become an engineer, to become an astronaut? Can we use them as mentors? At UNESCO, we do have that program, and we run STEM camps for girls. We're going to have one in Kenya in April that's going to be there for 5 days in April, and it will be at Tumutumu Girls. And this project is actually funded by Intel. But can we have these women leaders coming, talking to the girls, telling them, what do you need to be a leader? A political leader for that matter. Not only a political leader, can we also look at women who are in the private sector, the CEOs, the medical engineers, the physicists, also to come and just talk to the girls, encourage them to pursue whatever career they're going to pursue, so that we can build a better Kenya.
I can see Esther Garigi there, the country director, nodding. I can hear it. Please add on to what do you think? What do you need, especially entities and organizations that are way far removed from government? Then what do they need to do, to foster and ensure that we attain gender parity?
I would say the most important thing is that we need to step away from the assumption that leadership is only within institutions or just in parliament. Wherever you are as a woman, whether you are Mama Mboga within the Soko, whether it is within your church, within your communities, within the small, within the estate, in any opportunity where a woman has an opportunity to lead, by setting those examples, by taking on these positions, by making decisions and creating change in whatever small way, in whichever position that you're holding, then we'll be able to influence even bigger positions. One of the things that, just from the example we had a few minutes earlier of the lady who's a matatu driver, talking about, she learned from her father and she was able to get where she is, and she's encouraging more women to get into that space. So how do we show that we are capable of doing these jobs? We are capable of achieving far beyond what the assumption of society is. So we need to break those biases by taking up any positions, any opportunities that we come across to show the example that women are strong leaders, we are good at making decisions, and those small decisions will then get to a point where we're able to influence decisions even in parliament, even worldwide. So I think that courage to take up the space, to sit at the table. You know, don't wait until the table is created for you. Make your own seat. Often
actually, there is no table. You carry your table to the space.
Exactly.
You carry your table to the space. So, Makena Moria, in your recommendations, what would you like to see so that maybe in the next 5 years we're not here again having this conversation, saying that we're still having a score of 9 out of 12 in as far as the women agenda is concerned?
I think I can refer to where I work in the ecosystem that we work in as Inkomoko. We support refugees, we support local entrepreneurs. We have supported over 50,000 of them across East Africa, and majority are women. I think around 56%, and 62% of them are refugees. So how do we empower more women to have greater livelihoods, to build thriving communities? It means that we keep working with our partners in government, in the development sector to bring down those barriers around access to credit, access to resources, access to information and education, access to technology and the digital space, which breaks down biases and also ensures that women are able to control these resources and build their own income. So how do we work better with government and other stakeholders and women to ensure that these barriers are broken down one at a time? So I think it's a long journey, but I think we can keep working together as women and also with our allies men to ensure that we're able to push some of these policy decisions, especially also around refugees. They can be integrated into part of our society. They can contribute to our economy. So I think we need to think beyond marginalization, because women are the ones who are affected the most in whatever context.
Now, as we work towards the closing, or rather bringing this conversation to a close, we have seen the political scene change. It isn't as it was in 1995. But my question is tonight to you, as a chairperson of Maendeleo ya Wanawake, that is Rehab, is Kenya ready for a female president?
Absolutely. You see, they agree with me. We are ready. And we start by thanking, we have one of our own in East Africa, Her Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan of Tanzania. So we are doing pretty well. After Salif, we got one. We had Joyce Banda, who is our friend. Let me say this. Maendeleo's journey from 1960 was 50-50. And Mama CEO will tell you that today, and she turns 92. She's in the US. And last year, we were busy campaigning for a woman deputy president, and we were asking the political leaders, and I say this with a lot of humility, on the side of Azimio, please give us Mother Karua or Charity Ngilu. On the other side, please give us Anne Waiguru or Alice Wahome. It was there, and we ended up getting Martha. So really, Maendeleo worked towards this. So we feel that come another, probably, I'm not sure about 5 years, but maybe 10.
Maybe 10.
We should start preparing, because the ground is too hot right now. We don't know how things will look like, but I think we are ready. We are ready for a woman president.
Indeed.
Yeah, we are.
Indeed. And that is the table that we want to see, a female leader calling shots, calling points, because as you have seen tonight in this particular panel, is that if we create synergies, if we are not scared to take up this position as women, indeed, there is space. Only is that from my panel tonight, who agree that most often at the table, you actually have to bring your own table, bring your own seat, so that you can be part of the conversation. We've been having this conversation tonight, honoring the International Women's Day. I'm going to give each of my panelists 30 seconds to send a special message tonight as we close the interview. We start off with Dr. Mary Nyasini.
Yes, as we celebrate the International Women's Day, at UNESCO, we ensure that, women and girls do have access to technological and innovations, but we also ensure that they help shape them. Because if we leave women to design all these technology and innovations, they will design them to their own desires. So we create space for women, provide them with opportunities, either through mentorship programs, training programs, scholarship programs, so that they're within the field where they can, be engaged in technology. For instance, artificial intelligence is going to be the next frontier. By 2050, most of the jobs will be led by science, technology, and innovations. So we are creating opportunities for women to ensure that we have more women in artificial intelligence space.
Indeed. Esther, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Let's break the bias. The ceiling, we've only cracked the ceiling. And if we work together, we can break that ceiling and soar higher. Happy International Women's Day.
Indeed. Makena Moria?
I just want to commend all women. We are resourceful, we are resilient. We want to build each other, build our families and our communities. I just want to encourage us to keep with that faith and keep carrying people along, and wishing everyone a wonderful day.
We do not want to eat into Rahab's 30 seconds. One word as we close.
Happy International Women's Day from Maendeleo, a grassroots, the oldest and the largest, 70 years old, to all women of Kenya. And we are looking forward to going to lay our mother, Mama Grace Onyango, to rest in another when the program is out. And thank you very much for inviting Maendeleo.
Thank you very much, ladies, for your time.